And welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Swizz Sports Show here, presented by StreamYard. And today I am joined by a relatively popular guy in the NFL community and college football community. He's a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, the only one I know around these parts. Ladies and gentlemen, back on the channel for the first time since probably early 2024, Grant Flood. Grant, how are we doing?
Hey, Tyler, thanks for having me on. Can't wait to talk about some football. Typically, I come on the show to talk about some wrestling, but I'm also a big football, hockey, and baseball guy. So, hey, whenever I have time and have the opportunity, I love to come on these shows. So, thank you again, Tyler, for having me on.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, before we get into any football, just some quick news for myself here. This Saturday and Sunday, I will be a tea announcer at the Ladies PGA Championship in Norton, Massachusetts. I will be there most likely from 10:30 to 2:30. It is long shifts. There's a lot of women's professional golfers. Excited for the opportunity. Thank you to John Rook for that. And I can't wait for that opportunity. It's definitely the biggest moment of my life. One of them, I still say the Big East is over that because it's Madison Square Garden. Not too many people can say that. Also, in other quick news, I got a tattoo the other day. Kind of new. It's for my dog that I lost this year. But that's that. So now, first of all, Grant, who do we have on the jersey here?
Calais Campbell. It's a Calais Campbell 2018 replica Pro Bowl jersey.
You know, I would wear my Micah Parsons jersey, but that thing is vintage at that point. That thing has been through it. That thing has been thrown. That thing has been...
Oh, I take great care of my jerseys. Everyone
I take care of it.
I put it up on a hanger and it hides in my closet.
What's destroyed it is the fact that my washing machine sometimes decides it wants to just go sicko mode, and it spins nonstop, and it kind of rips some of the lettering off my jersey. But you can still tell it's Micah. It just looks like it was one of his first jerseys that I bought. But then we got a vintage Brandon Cooks jersey.
That's dope.
Who
respect Brandon Cooks.
We'll transition into that topic, because as of right now, ladies and gentlemen, CeeDee Lamb is the number one receiver actually for the Dallas Cowboys. And Grant, I want to lead into this segment asking you, are we on a deep downfall for Dallas because of the fact, look, CeeDee hasn't re-signed. Right? You lost Tyron Smith. You lost Tyler. I forgot his last name. He was one of the other guys, big guys. Leighton Vander Esch is done. Michael Gallup retired. Tony Pollard's out of there, so you don't have a dynamic running back duo anymore. The only move they've made is re-signing Ezekiel Elliott. And we know last year Dak had one of the best seasons for quarterbacks. Statistically, you have to give Dak his respect. You could make the argument that he deserves it a little more over Lamar Jackson.
I wholeheartedly agree.
But here's the thing, man. Jerry Jones came out and he said he had no urgency to get the contract deal done with CeeDee Lamb. Now, when your owner says that to your fans, that kind of doesn't sit right, And first of all, I want to ask you this. Do we see CeeDee Lamb put on a Cowboys jersey this year?
This year, yes. Next year, I think, is when you can start to open up the can of worms. Because Dak Prescott's contract, he was the first one to get paid this exorbitant amount, meaning he's going to be the first one to expire. I think his deal expires at the end of this year, at the end of next year. And the question is...
Actually, it's the end of this year. It is the end
of this year. So then the question is, you choose, do you want your franchise quarterback or your franchise receiver? You're going to go with the franchise quarterback. And though CeeDee Lamb may be just as impactful as Dak, I don't know. And Dallas could get the deal done because, as you mentioned before, pretty much they're entering this season with a lot of brand new offensive linemen. and just a lot of free agents left. Tony Pollard, Stephon Gilmore signed with Minnesota last week. Like, those are a lot of guys that Dallas just refused to re-sign. And you're thinking, if we're going to let these players walk in free agency, we're going to make room for Dak and Lamb. That is the future of this team. Micah Parsons is going to need a deal soon enough, and so will a lot of other guys. So Rico Dowell, his contract's running up soon. Maybe they got Zeke as, I guess, so Rico Dowell doesn't completely run out of gas like Tony Pollard did after 2022. So the Cowboys are taking a weird approach. I don't really like what they're doing. They pretty much let their entire offensive line walk, and that was the big issue this offseason for them because pretty much outside of Zach Martin, a lot of those guys are young.
Absolutely. And not to mention, right, we talked a little bit about Micah there for a second. Micah is going to look for his rookie extension next year because he's eligible for it,
Right?
and he deserves it. And we're going to get into why he deserves it a little more into the show. But, you know, Micah's been consistently one of the, if not the best edge rusher linebacker in the league.
He's incredible. He's a freak of nature. And the fact that the Cowboys even selected him in, what was it, like 11th or 12th overall? Crazy he even fell that low. It's amazing how stacked that we thought the 2021 draft class was going to be and how kind of underwhelming outside of Jamar Chase and Trevor Lawrence and a couple of other guys. Wow, a lot of those picks ahead of Micah Parsons really just haven't panned out yet. So it's amazing Dallas even got him, and he's a very dominant player. And, you know, I know that Leighton Vander Esch retired, but he was so on and off the field the last few years anyways, dealing with injuries and whatnot. I think it's okay to give a younger linebacker a chance to kind of prove themselves this year. But Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, those are your two big guys up front on the D-line who are going to get sacks and pressure the quarterback. And it really felt like as the season went on, Dallas's D-line just got slower. It felt like everyone outside of Micah Parsons just slowed down. They came out so hot right out of the gate, beating the Giants 40-0 and destroying the Jets.
Like that first 6-7 weeks of the season, they were the best defense in the league.
And I would say you're right. And, you know, look at the pressures. The pressures that the D-line got on the quarterbacks, like guys like Deron Bland have a breakout year and getting all those pick sixes, and when Trayvon Diggs is healthy, he's an interception magnet. The D-line for Dallas is so vital to their secondary.
Yep. Now, I will say this. I'm not going to make excuses because Cowboys and the playoffs go together like pickles and peanut butter. It just doesn't work. But we both know they had the easiest route to the Super Bowl they've had since '95, this past playoffs.
They did.
Right? I think if we would have had the high-scoring offense of the Cowboys that we had for the first 10 weeks of the season, and if we had that defense when Trayvon Diggs went down and that defense was just going insane, I think Dallas could have potentially won the whole thing last year.
I think they would have at least... They're
still in the NFC
Championship. Because realistically, do they beat San Francisco? I doubt it. But they could beat Philly. They could beat Detroit. They could beat Tampa Bay. They could have beat a lot. They certainly could have beat Green Bay. They scored, 35? And they still lost that wild card game? Like, that's brutal. The offense showed up. The defense didn't.
Well, I would say the offense didn't show up for, like, the whole first half.
I mean, Dak did throw a pick six in the second quarter.
And CD couldn't catch a ball to save his life.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, right, I think another thing with CeeDee Lamb, too, is he has to be looking and considering Justin Jefferson just got the biggest contract for a wide receiver ever. Right? Now, you look at the numbers from last season, CD had the best numbers in all of football last season for receivers. CeeDee Lamb, as it stands right now, CeeDee Lamb is the best receiver in the National Football League. Regardless how you feel about that, you have to look at the statistics here and break it down.
Was.
And I feel like that kind of ticks CD off a little bit because of the fact that you're letting a guy who spent more time off the field last year get all this money when you don't have – when Jerry Jones owns the richest sports franchise in the world and you're telling me that you can't pay CD Lamb?
Yeah, I mean, I completely understand why Lamb is getting a little ticked off by the situation, and that too would rub me the wrong way if I just put up 1,600 yards, how many ever touchdowns, and was in consideration for Offensive Player of the Year. And Justin Jefferson, who from 2020 to 2022 was obviously amazing, still is, returned from injury and still continued to tear it up after missing 4 or 5 weeks. And I think the consensus is that Jefferson is probably the best receiver in the league. Minnesota had more cap to work with. They got the deal done quicker. But for guys like CD Lamb and even the Bengals with Jamar Chase right now, they're kind of holding out because they realize if we aren't getting paid as much as Jefferson, we should be getting somewhere in the same ballpark. And I don't think Jerry Jones wants to give CD Lamb all that money. I think he just wants to kind of cap him off at around $30 million. But if he's going to be your franchise wide receiver for the next decade, like you hope he is, you got to give him the big boy contract now. Because eventually, if he plays with Dallas enough, he could take the Tom Brady route and take the hometown discount later. Right now, as someone who is dominant in his prime in his mid-20s, he wants his money now. And that's where the Cowboys got to capitalize on that.
And remember here, Grant, when we were your first year at Dean, my second year at Dean, we had talked about this and gone over it. For CeeDee Lamb's first couple of seasons in the league, he didn't look like the CeeDee Lamb we knew that came from Oklahoma and was dominating conferences.
Oh, yeah, no, it definitely took him a little bit.
Last year, we got that Oklahoma CeeDee Lamb back. And we're going to get into division predictions later into the show and stuff because I don't want to give my hopes for Dallas. But, dude, I have my doubts this year. I
think you guys are going to be fine. I mean,
I think we're going to be fine, but I have my doubts considering what's going on.
If Dallas misses the playoffs, then it's time to hit the panic button. But I still see you guys as a playoff team, so I wouldn't worry just yet. I think it's the start of next year is when you begin to worry about what Dallas can do. I've said this for the past 2 seasons. I think Mike McCarthy has got to go. He just is just not the head coach that's going to put you on a deep playoff run. I know he won a Super Bowl before, but
they should have fired Mike McCarthy at the end of that Green Bay game, and they should have went out and hired Belichick.
I completely agree. And when I heard that
Belichick with that offense,
1 year left on his deal and they were going to keep him, I'm like, what are you doing?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if you put Belichick with that high-powered offense and high-powered defense, he's winning a Super Bowl.
I think Dallas certainly has a significantly better shot than they do now with Bill than Mike McCarthy.
But let's talk about a team that could potentially be a playoff team right now. And this is going to be a big conversation of the show, as well as in division predictions as well. And right now, I want to get into it. Is Caleb Williams walking into the best situation amongst all rookie quarterbacks? And Grant, I had this conversation with another friend of the channel who's made it on here before, Kyle McShane, and we've talked about this before. I think Caleb Williams is walking into the best situation right now for a rookie quarterback because you have to – the one thing Chicago has done better than a lot of teams this season is they've gotten what they needed.
Right.
Not even if it's granted at the best caliber quality of player at that position, but they got the pieces they needed. Their running back, they fixed that. I forgot their running back's name who was going to be
DeAndre Swift. They got Swift.
DeAndre Swift, yep. You got Keenan Allen, right?
Yep.
Their tight end is good. Their other wide receiver, Roma Dunze or whatever. Yep.
Roma
killed
Dunze,
it in Washington.
DJ Moore. Yeah.
DJ Moore, and not to mention they have one of the best, most underrated defenses in the league. I think Caleb Williams, and he's been killing it in preseason, but yet again, preseason is a different animal than the regular season. And this is a guy who didn't participate in training. He participated in training camps, but he didn't participate in the combine, because he thought he was the clear number 1 pick. Now, I got to ask you this, Grant. Is Caleb Williams walking into the best situation amongst all rookie quarterbacks? And B, is Caleb Williams the answer that Chicago needs at quarterback?
Yes, and most likely. He's definitely this year walking into the best situation, as we mentioned. I mean, they just loaded up that offense. They got DeAndre Swift, first major signing of free agency, like 15 minutes into free agency, boom, Swift signed a 3-year deal. What do they do a month later? They get Keenan Allen. Oh, in case Cole Kmet goes down, they get Gerald Everett, a great, solid backup tight end. They continue to work on their defense, and of course, they drafted Rome Odunze 9th overall. So, yeah, Chicago is looking good, and dare I say, it just sucks that they're in, arguably, the best division in football right now. I still think, even after all of this, Chicago's finishing third in that division.
I have my take. We'll get into that in division predictions.
Get into that, but
I think Chicago has 2 Rookie of the Year candidates for offensive Rookie of the Year.
Oh, for sure.
In Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze. Dude, I started getting into college football more this year. I paid attention to college basketball more, granted, because I'm a college basketball fan more than college football. But when I was watching like Washington and, the season they had, Rome Odunze was incredible this year. I mean,
he, in my opinion, was the best route runner in the entire class.
Yep,
by far.
And I agree with that. But now, I don't know if you've had a chance to see this yet. Okay. The reaction heard around the NFL world, but was not received well. Have you seen what I'm about to play for you here?
Is this the Sunday ticket scam?
No, it is not, my friend.
Oh, no. Maybe. I don't know. You got a video to show?
Yes. Yes, I do. All right. Can you see it here?
Oh, Colin Cowherd. This guy
we're gonna break this down. We're gonna break this down, but
this guy is a goofball. I don't take anything he says seriously.
Here we go.
Well, I thought
Can you hear it?
Yep.
My 5 bold predictions. I can make easy ones. Josh Allen's going to be good. Andy Reid will make the playoffs. No, I don't choose that. I'm not looking to be perfect. I'm going to take some bold predictions. Are you ready to go here? The first one's kind of negative. I think Dennis Allen, Saints, is the first coach to be let go. They've missed the playoffs back-to-back years. The NFC South, Atlanta and Carolina are undoubtedly better teams. No question. The Falcons and the Panthers are much better teams. 4 of the first 6 games for Dennis Allen are against playoff teams from last year.
I'm going to pause that right there. To say that the Panthers are better than the Saints is kind of wild.
I mean, it's crazy because I completely agree. I think Dennis Allen is getting dumped eventually this year, but
I agree 100%.
He made a great take and then he made a bold take. I think, why didn't he bring up Tampa Bay, the team that literally made the divisional round last year? I have no idea. I know Atlanta's on fire right now, getting Kirk Cousins, Matthew Judon, Justin Simmons. I know they've had a tremendous offseason just like the Bears, but ooh.
Right,
I actually just realized ahead of Carolina.
I just realized that I picked the wrong calendar, the herd.
That's fine. Well, hey, I mean,
I have to find it.
Talking point too. Dennis Allen stinks and he's getting fired eventually this season. I also think, hot take, this could be the last season the Saints have Derek Carr as
okay.
I don't think they're convinced.
Give me 1 second. I gotta make sure it plays here. Because you know how sometime. All right, so we haven't had time. But yeah, I think Dennis Allen is going to be the first coach to be let go this year. And it's not saying he's a bad coach. He's not Sean McVay. All right, here we go. And this is going to transition into our next topic right here. All right. We have, give me 1 second here. I got to share it. And this is the one I meant to share, right?
Mm-hmm.
Colin Cowherd's 2024 NFL division predictions.
Okay.
2 more. This is going to be one. I get 2 more opportunities before the season starts. I'm going to do one on the Thursday before the opening NFL game. I'm going to do one now. Is that I've watched the preseason. I'm reading like you everything, and I'm going to give you a sense.
And by the way, Grant, after each division he predicts, we're just gonna roast how bad he is, and then we're gonna go into our
sounds good. I'm ready. I love ripping Colin Cowherd to shreds, so okay. I'm ready.
Because this actually works out perfectly because of the fact he'll have the divisions up on the screen. So, folks, also welcome to our segment on the show where we rip up Colin Cowherd, and we're doing our division predictions all in one. All right, so here we go.
Sense of where I feel with my playoffs. So I've made a couple of changes, couple of minor changes, but they're changes, and I'll give you the reason why. So let's start with the AFC. I still feel it's Bills, Dolphins, Jets, Patriots. I know more.
Okay. Grant, you want to take this one away first, or do you want me to?
I don't know. I'm looking at this, and it kind of looks right, in my opinion. That's kind of similar to what I have. I will say, I think Bills, Dolphins, Jets, that's all interchangeable. Anyone could come out of that division. That division could have as many as 3 playoff teams coming out of there.
Well, here's my thing. I think the only one to lock this in is the Patriots at 4th.
Yes.
I don't think the Jets finish 3rd. I think the Jets actually finish 2nd. I'm going to move Buffalo down the 3rd, and I'm going to put Miami on 1.
Ooh.
I think Josh Allen is going to have a hard time without Stephon Diggs as his number 1 guy.
I don't think so, because Diggs was like silent throughout the last 2 months of the season last year. Hey, why do you think they got guys involved in Dalton Kincaid? I think Josh Allen's ready to break away from that. I need Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. I think he's ready to get away from that. He's ready to develop Keon Coleman, and I don't think much is really going to change in Buffalo. Although they did lose Matt Milano, and that's going to suck.
I don't think Buffalo's going to be the Buffalo that they were 2 years ago or last year. I think they're going to be a team that goes 8-7 and still makes the playoffs.
Okay.
I think they're going to be an 8-7 team. I got the Dolphins going 12-5. I do think they drop a game to Buffalo. I think they drop a game to New York. I think they could drop a game to New England, or they could sweep New England. But I have the Dolphins going 12-5. I have the Jets going 11-6. Because the big question here, Grant, too, is how is Aaron Rodgers going to perform this year coming off that Achilles tear?
Oh, exactly.
Right?
The Jets are the wild card. We already know how good Buffalo and Miami realistically is. The wild card in this is New York. They're either going to go out, explode, and win the division, or they could be a disappointment and completely miss out on the playoffs. I don't think that's going to happen because the Jets' defense is really good. And as long as Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, they should just coast along just fine. But the Jets are definitely the wild card of the bunch.
Yeah, now let's see what he has to say about this because we just gave our breakdown. Let's see what he has.
More about the Dolphins than I do the Jets. I know they'll be wildly productive on offense. Offenses carry over. If you don't make big wholesale changes, a good offense one year is a good offense the next year. It's not the same for defense. Jets, Hassan Reddick's not in camp.
That's a good point.
Huff's gone. A lot of noise. I think it's Bills, Dolphins, Jets, Patriots. AFC North, I don't know if there's a great team. I'm out on the Steelers.
You don't know if there's a great team.
I
am looking at 3 teams in this division that could go to the AFC Championship.
I agree.
First of all, the Steelers do not belong at 3. They belong at 4. And you have to look at it like this. Dude, Colin, this is why you are one of the worst sports analysts in our industry. I would have maybe considered them to be closer to 3 if they were to get Brandon Ayuk. But see, the thing is, Russ as the starting quarterback doesn't do it for me, man. I think Russ should be the backup. Justin Fields proved why he could be a starter last year. And not only that.
I don't know about that. Remember, Russell Wilson did throw 26 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. That's a damn good touchdown to interception ratio.
It is, but dude, I don't know.
I've never been high on Justin Fields, though. I can't I can't.
That is fair. That is fair. See, I'm gonna move the Browns up to 3rd. That way, I can work with this a little more because
I would.
You could interchange this because if we get a healthy Deshaun Watson and a healthy Amari Cooper, Browns could pull away with this division. And if we get a healthy Myles Garrett too,
Nick Chubb's coming back. I know Isaiah Ford's going to be Jeremy Ford's going to be the Week 1 starter, but Chubb's going to be coming back within the first month of the season. So.
And that's the thing. Like, we don't know how Derrick Henry's going to perform in Baltimore. I'm still not confident in Baltimore's receiving game. And to me, like, yeah, Lamar Jackson is a good quarterback. I won't say he's great yet. He's a good quarterback. He has won 2 MVPs. But even though he can pass a little bit, to me, Lamar's just a one-trick pony, man. He just runs the ball, right? I think, if anything, I feel like the safe pick is Cincinnati at 1. But here's the thing.
The Bengals, they lost
Jamar Chase. And the Bengals also just lost Joe Mixon, too.
Yep, they lost Joe Mixon. They lost Tyler Boyd. They lost a couple of players on defense, too. So
right, but the big part is they did franchise T. Higgins.
They did.
That was huge. You know what? I'm going to go bold here. I'm going to say Cleveland wins the division this year.
Ooh, I like that. I still have Cleveland going in 3rd, I think. But I
got Cleveland at 12-5. I got Cleveland at 12-5. I got Baltimore at 10-7. And I got Cincinnati at 9-8.
Ooh.
And
I'm just curious, what do you think the Steelers are going to be? Because Pittsburgh's not an awful team.
I got Pittsburgh at 6-11.
The thing is, with Mike Tomlin, he's such an efficient coach, and he's never finished below 500. So every single year for the last 3 years, I've just been thinking the Steelers are going to stink. But then they go out and they get destroyed in the wild card game, but they always make the wild card game every year. It's the most obnoxious thing ever. It's like, Pittsburgh, will you please go away? Your offense is very inconsistent.
You're going to offend my mom with that.
Mike Tomlin, and they live and die by that defense. I'm thinking if Cleveland and Cincinnati both stay healthy, there is literally no way Pittsburgh finishes in 3rd, but you never know.
See, you're going to offend my mom with everything you just said about the Steelers, but who cares because I am a Cowboys fan.
Your mom likes the Steelers? Go.
In my opinion, the greatest Super Bowl rivalry of all time is Cowboys-Steelers.
It is.
But, dude, my thing is Lamar's going to have to share the ball now with Derrick Henry. And Zay Flowers does have a bit of legal trouble. We know that. How much is that going to affect him, right?
Not much. I'm pretty sure they dropped the charges, if I'm not mistaken.
But dude, I don't know. This to me is, like you said earlier about the AFC North being the best or the NFC North being the best division in football this year. I think it's this one.
I mean, because Pittsburgh is definitely ahead of New England, no matter how you slice it. So. It could be the AFC North.
Let's see what Colin has. Let's see what Colin has to say here.
Yeah, I want to hear his explanation.
Browns ownership quarterback scares me. It's Ravens, Bengals. I may revisit this. I'm going to go. Listen, Lamar Jackson's health. I trust him to be healthy by week 17, even though he's had injuries more than Joe Burrow. But if Joe Burrow is upright for the entire season, Cincinnati may win this division. AFC South. I feel really good about my pick now. I really like the team.
Boy, Colin. Boy. He
Yeah,
nailed it. This is my prediction,
this
too.
is realistically this is the perfect list.
This is the perfect list. For all you damn Colts fans out there who think they're going to finish ahead of Jacksonville, in the words of LA Knight, nah. Because everyone
shout out LA
forgets
Knight.
about Jacksonville is that before Trevor Lawrence hurt his ankle, we were the 1 seed in the AFC, no matter how you slice it. I completely agree. Weeks 13 onward, tragic. It was a collapse, but this team is healthy. They got rid of Calvin Ridley, who was apparently a locker room nuisance to the team. Drafted Brian Thomas, who had a great preseason, only preseason, but you never know. I think if Trevor's at 100%, I think if Etienne's at 100%, the offense is going to be fine. Defense looking scary. Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker have the league lead in combined sacks among teammates. So
I'm going to say this is how I feel about this list. This list is how I have my list. I have the Texans going 13-3 this year.
And that is realistic.
CJ Stroud. We're going to get into this in another segment of the show, but I think if CJ Stroud has the season, if not a better season than last year, he's your MVP this year. Jags I like. See, the thing is, and I don't want to offend you as a Jaguars fan, but it's
we're a wild card. You don't know what to expect from us.
It's the inconsistency.
We're either going 10-7 and making a wild card spot, or we're finishing 7-10. There is going to be no in between. It's going to be a weird year.
Now I've seen this whole video before, but I don't remember much of it. But what I heard he said about Anthony Richardson is absurd, and I want to get into that right now.
The Texans. I like everything about what they're doing. Jaguars, best roster, I believe Trevor Lawrence has had, and he is healthy. I still don't know if Anthony Richardson's style lasts in this league. Titans, I don't think are very good.
I mean, it does because he has a similar play style to guys like Lamar Jackson. So the play style stands, but I get what he was trying to say. He just worded it poorly, but.
And that's what I'm going to say right now. Like, are we not going to sit here and pretend like Lamar Jackson isn't a 2-time MVP?
Yeah. No, Anthony Richardson, and he has more powerful arm strength than Lamar. Take that as you will, but he does. He has a bazooka.
Yeah, and again, Anthony Richardson is coming off a pretty gruesome shoulder injury too.
Yeah, but even if Richardson goes down, they have Joe Flacco. That's probably best backup in the league right there. So
yeah, so we're going to see. I still have the division listed this way. Let's see what the next division is here.
Because Tennessee, they made moves.
AFC West. Here's the thing. Kansas City should be better at wide receiver.
Okay, let me pause this here. I'm going to make some adjustments here. I still have Kansas City winning the division. I think they drafted one of the best receivers in the class in Xavier Worthy. Dude is insanely fast. I don't have the Chargers at 2. I got the Chargers at 3. I have Denver going down to 4. I got I got Vegas going up to 2.
Yeah, me too.
I believe in Minshew.
Man. Love Minshew. I also think the Chargers just finish ahead of Denver because, 1, they're not starting a rookie quarterback, and 2, John Harbaugh has a lot of experience in this league. So even though it's his first time coaching in the NFL in about a decade, that doesn't really matter. Harbaugh's
I'm still going to go I'm going to go Vegas at 2. I think also Max Crosby's playing with a chip on his shoulder. I think Devontae Adams has a lot to prove this year if he still got it. Because we've
the guy to do it, man. Minshew, he is not like the quarterback that could just huck up a 70-yard throw every time, but he will have some of the best completion percentages in the entire league. The guy does not miss a throw. He does not. He is efficient in the pocket. He can read plays well. He's quick with his feet. He loves to throw on the run. That's what Devontae Adams is best at besides deep routes. I would say Minshew is definitely the best pick for the Raiders at quarterback this year.
I would agree.
Chargers worry me now because Denver, I think, is better, faster with Bo Nix than I thought, and I thought it was going to work. I'm a little worried about Justin Herbert. I got J-Mac in my ear. So my division winners in the AFC remain the Bills, Ravens, Texans, Chiefs. But I'm going to move the Dolphins into the playoffs and the Chargers out because the Dolphins give me things I know. Tua, Waddle, Tyreek, Mike McDaniel, those running backs. Remember, great offenses carry over year to year. Great defenses don't. There's just too many unknowns now with the Chargers. Herbert's health, their receiving core, I just don't know. And so I'm going to, for the time being, Chargers last team out, Dolphins are in. In the NFC, I've told you, Eagles, Commanders, Cowboys, Giants.
He has Washington ahead of Dallas. Oh, my. Oh, boy. Because, I agree the Eagles are in first and the Giants are in fourth, but, oh, God.
Dude, I have Washington in third. I have Dallas in second. But I do see where he's coming from in a way because we lost a lot more than what we gained in free agency and stuff like that. And not only that, but damn it, Colin Cowherd. We're not going to sit here and act like Dallas hasn't been a 12-win team for the last 3 seasons.
I mean, he talks about how great offenses carry over into the next season. And again, outside the offensive line, the offense didn't really take a hit at all. So,
except CeeDee Lamb, we don't know. CeeDee Lamb has air quotes around his name right now.
He has air quotes. He's playing. Just like Brandon Ayuk, I think he's staying in.
Dude, I think the Giants could be the worst team in football this year.
Oh, they could easily go 2-15. They're bad, which sucks because their defense is actually top half in the league. The Giants' defense is actually really solid, but their offense is just so bad. And especially now without Saquon Barkley, forget it. That team.
You got to see twice a year now again. You have to see Saquon twice a year too. Don't forget about that.
Yeah. Also, what an upgrade. Saquon Barkley over DeAndre Swift. Philadelphia made out big time on that one.
You know how I feel about Philly. I can't say it because I'll get
on
YouTube.
I don't care for Philly either, but they will win the division this year. Unfortunately.
Oh, yes.
Giants. I think Dallas misses the playoff. I think the Commanders are the shock of the league. I'll get to that in a second. Here's my big change, and it's pretty subtle. Packers, Lions, Bears, Vikings. I'm going to flip Packers and Lions. When the Packers played the Lions, the second.
All right, Grant, I'll let you take the lead on this one because you did say the NFC North could be the best division in football this year.
I think it could be. I really think it could be the AFC North, the AFC East. There's a lot of really solid. Hell, I'll even throw in the AFC South if the Colts can also prove me wrong. I mean, the Packers and Lions, I think, are both shoo-ins. I actually have Detroit making it once again to the NFC Championship game. I don't know if we're going to get to playoff predictions or not today, but I do have Detroit making it far in the playoffs. Good. I do have Detroit making it far. I do see – I mean, there's no way Green Bay doesn't perform well. I mean, they were lights out from late November onward last year, and they lost to the eventual Super Bowl runner-ups by a possession on the road. Green Bay is looking very good. I think this is where Jordan Love, highest paid player in the league now, I think he's going to skyrocket his way up the passing charts. His yards and touchdowns are going to go up. Caleb Williams and the Bears, like we said, the Bears, on paper, they're doing everything right. And on paper, Caleb Williams is looking great in the preseason. I think Chicago does great, and they win at least 8 or 9 games staying in that wild card spot. The Vikings were intriguing, but now that J.J. McCarthy's out for the year, I really don't see them doing much. This kind of reminds me a lot like the AFC East, where the Vikings are like the Patriots, and the other three are just very up for debate. You know, you could even shock me and say the Bears win it with a 10-6 record. I mean, that could happen if Green Bay or Detroit start off sluggish and Chicago starts off very hot. I think this division for the top 3 teams there, I think anyone could really win it. But I would go Detroit wins the division, Green Bay finishes second, Chicago. I don't know if they potentially make a wild card spot or not, but they definitely finish in third and probably above 500 too.
Yeah, I'm going to go Detroit at 1. I'm gonna take a risk here. I'm gonna go Chicago at 2.
You're gonna go Chicago 2. I like it.
I'm gonna go Green Bay 3 and Minnesota 4. However, hold me to this: interchangeable between Green Bay and Chicago.
I like it. It's weird because not a lot of times you really get to see the Bears like this hyped up, and this is the first time in a while I think they're gonna actually have a decent season. Like for the first time.
I agree.
So I'll go with Chicago in 3rd, but would not be shocked if they sneaked into like the 7th seed. And
I agree. All right, let's get into it now.
Second time in Jordan Love had experience, they beat Detroit. I know the Lions have a better offensive line. The depth of offensive talent and the coaching and the quarterback mobility of Green Bay is better. I'm going to go with a young, ascending team.
First of all, hold on. I'm going to debate that. If you want to go with depth of offensive talent, Chicago's better than Green Bay on paper.
Yeah. That is true.
This is why, Stephen A. Smith may clown on the Cowboys when they lose, and I actually think it's hilarious. Stephen A. Smith is miles better than Colin Coward.
Oh, no question.
The better head coach, the better quarterback talent, and a loaded, stacked roster of receiver and tight end talent. Lions still make the playoffs. Bears are going to be exciting, but it's a hell of.
Who is Green Bay's number 1 receiver?
Probably Romeo Doubs, if I had to guess. Because they have a bunch of receivers that just get like 700-800 yards, and they're all just like consistent.
So is he just talking out of his ass right now?
I mean, definitely Green Bay would. I could honestly. Okay, well, I was about to say Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison got to mean something, right? You could realistically convince me Green Bay has the worst receiving core in the division. I don't think so, but
the best one in the division is Chicago.
It is Chicago. And I think Detroit with Amon-Ra St. Brown certainly
and James Williams
certainly helps them up a little bit. And then Green Bay has more better receivers than the Vikings, but Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison are alone better than any Packers receiver on the roster. So it's like Green Bay has more depth at that position, but Minnesota has the better players. So again, you could argue Green Bay is the worst receiving core in the division. And not that it's bad. They just have a bunch of guys who consistently put up 700, 800, 900 yards. It's not a bad thing. You spread the ball out.
Right.
Hell of a division. Vikings, the best 4th place team in the league. NFC South, I think Atlanta's going to run away with it. I don't think Atlanta
will run away with it because Tampa Bay, again, is a playoff team from last year. And again, we talked about this earlier. Don't see how the Panthers finish ahead of New Orleans.
I got Bucks at 1, Falcons 2, Saints 3, Panthers 4.
You still think Tampa Bay, after acquiring Matthew Judon and Justin Simmons in the last week, is still still worse than Tampa Bay?
Dude, I just think Mike Evans is the difference maker, man. There is not a lot of defenses in the NFL that have the answer for Mike Evans.
I will say this about Mike Evans. If he gets 1,000 yards again this season, he ties Jerry Rice for the most consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. And for those of you who don't think Mike Evans is a Hall of Famer, for the love of God, watch the highlights. Watch his highlights. Look at his stats. He is on top of winning a Super Bowl. He's going to be
And the other thing, too, is I don't know how you can feel about Kirk Cousins. Kirk was hurt last year, man.
He was hurt, and he was also leading the league in yards and touchdowns before his injury. And now he's got a significantly better offensive line.
Right.
I think Kirk's going to go crazy, low-key. I think Kirk Cousins, if it doesn't go to Aaron Rodgers, it's the comeback player of the year is going to go to Cousins.
I still have Atlanta in the playoffs. I just have Tampa Bay finishing slightly above them.
Hey, that ain't bad.
Atlanta's going to win potentially 12 to 13 games. I really do. I really like Atlanta. I say that being lighter in the wallet my entire adult life on Falcons games. Bucks are good, not as good as Atlanta. Panthers are going to be fun to watch. Much better at wide receiver. Still third. Saints will be a mess. I think they're the first team to fire their coach.
Yeah.
And in the NFC West, I said last year, I think they're leaning too much on McCaffrey. What's the situation?
Oh, Colin.
I know Ayuk hasn't gotten paid, and Purdy is also waiting for his big boy contract, but dude, no way.
No, Ayuk just signed.
Can certainly make
Didn't
the wild
Ayuk get
card
re-
too. I'm
didn't
not
Ayuk
just
get
the Rams,
re-signed?
but
Didn't Ayuk get re-signed?
no, not yet. Anyways,
I thought it happened.
no, he's still looking for his deal. I think he's going to end up playing, though he doesn't want to. I think he's going to end up playing through the contract dispute. And again, this isn't a knock on the Rams because they did heavily improve on their defense. They drafted a lot of defensive talent, and Blake Corum, who could be a great one-two punch with Kyron Williams. But Matthew Stafford, the only year he's been healthy for the full season in LA was the year they won the Super Bowl in 2021. I think he's bound to get hurt for at least a game or two, and I think that could be the difference maker in San Francisco, finishing ahead of LA. Now, I think the Rams could win 10 or 11 games, and I wouldn't really be shocked, but I still think San Francisco, at least hanging into this year, should be the favorite in the entire NFC at least.
I won't say entire NFC because I'm still going to go with Philly as the favorite.
Ooh, that's interesting. I mean, Philly, Detroit, Green Bay, they all have really good chances.
I do have San Fran winning this division, though. Oddly enough, I got Arizona finishing second, Rams third.
Wow. You think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to make that type of impact?
Yep.
Ooh, there you go. I mean, Arizona and
Situation
Seattle,
on Brandon Ayuk. Will Trent Williams be ready? I think the Jets could beat him in week 1. I think they pull back a little. I think they have peaked physically. They'll be good. They won't be as special. Seahawks, I think, are interesting. A bit of a mystery team to me. Arizona 4. So in the division winner category, Eagles, Packers, Falcons, Rams, Lions, Commanders, 9.
And with that being said, Colin Coward, get off of my screen. I need to make sure I'm not sharing my screen still. Okay, good.
You aren't.
Let's get into our way too early playoff predictions.
Oh, boy.
So at the 1 seed, I have Philly. 2 seed, I have, you know what? I'm going to take a risk here. 2 seed, I have Chicago.
You have Chicago winning the division?
Actually, no. 2 seed, I have Detroit. 2 seed,
crazy. I was about to say, I'm like, that is crazy.
2 seed, I have Detroit. 3 seed, I have the boys.
No, it goes by division winners. So it goes by division winners. Yeah. Not by overall record. It should probably go by overall record, but it doesn't.
3 seed, I have the Bucks.
Okay. Wow. You have San Francisco 4?
San Fran at 4.
What? Yo, that's crazy.
Actually, no, I have San Fran at 3.
Oh, I was about to say, I'm like,
Bucks at
dude,
4.
Tampa may not even win their freaking division, and you're going to put them ahead of San Francisco? That's crazy.
No, I had Tampa Bay winning my division.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying they might, not even, Atlanta's right on their tail.
5, I'm going to go with Dallas. Dallas is the 5 seed.
I
6
probably
seed.
have Dallas, too.
6 seed is the Bears. Yep, I said it.
Okay.
And the 7 seed is the Falcons.
Green Bay misses.
Green Bay misses.
That's crazy. Okay. I love the boldness to it.
NFC predictions, Floodster. What do you got?
I got Lions at 1, Niners at 2, Eagles at 3, Falcons at 4, with the wild cards going to the Cowboys, Rams, and I am debating between the Buccaneers or the Packers. Oh, Packers.
Okay. AFC predictions for the playoff card. One seed, I got the Chiefs. 2 seed, I got the Browns.
That's crazy.
3 seed, I have. No. Take it back. I take it back. Let me redo this. Let me rethink this because I'm thinking of too many things right now.
Because you want to ride the Houston Texans hype train.
You're damn right I do.
I know you do.
Texans at 1.
What?
Texans at the 1 seed. Chiefs at the 2 seed. 3 seed will be your. Three seed will be the Dolphins.
Oh, okay. Damn, the Browns went from 2 to 4 real quick.
Browns 4 seed. 5 seed, I will give it to the New York Jets.
Ooh, okay.
6 seed, I will give to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the 7 seed, the Baltimore Ravens.
Teams. Ravens, I was about to say, there's a lot of teams.
Ravens at the 7.
So you think Bengals are a no-go? That's crazy. No Bengals, no Bills. That's interesting.
What do you got?
Interesting. For me, I'm going to go with the 1 seed will be... I'll go 1 seed. Guess I'll have to go the Chiefs as the 1 seed. 2 seed will be the Bengals. 3 seed will be the Texans. 4th seed will be the Bills. 5th seed will be the Ravens. 6th seed Jaguars. And 7th seed. Let's go Jets.
Okay, so at least you have the Jets getting in.
Yes. I trust the Jets more than I do the Dolphins.
Let's get into this. Wait. Before we do that, actually, no, we can move into this. I'm just adding another banner to have on hand after the award predictions because we just did our playoff predictions. So way too early award predictions here. Let's go ahead and start with our comeback player of the year. Grant, who do you got?
I said it before, and I'll say it again. It's either going to be Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins. And give me Captain Kirk, baby.
All right. I think I'm going to go completely different here. I'm going to go a different route. I think comeback player of the year this year is going to be Nick Chubb.
I think that's also great. A lot of players got hurt last year, like Rodgers, Cousins, Chubb. There's a lot of guys that could win that award.
Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Defensive Rookie of the Year? This is an extreme hot take, probably. But hold on, I want to make sure I have his name right.
Yeah, I got to look up mine too.
I just want to make sure I'm pronouncing his name right. Yes, Jared Verse of the Rams. Straight out of Florida State, I think he is going to be an issue. He is replacing Aaron Donald right out of the gate, and I think he's going to pick off right where Aaron Donald left off, and wouldn't shock me if he has double-digit sacks this year. I'm very high on Jared Verse.
All right, let me see here. I'm just trying to think of his name. I'm trying to make sure that I have his name right because I cannot find him, and he's literally in my head. Okay, yes, I have him right here. I have Dallas Turner as my defensive rookie of the year.
That's a good pick too. Also,
dude is unreal. And I'm gonna go Dallas Turner for defensive rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year.
I won't say Caleb, although it'll probably be Caleb.
I'm not saying Caleb either.
I want to come up with someone.
Yeah, I have mine off the top of my head ready to go. If you want me to say mine.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Rome Odunze.
Rome Odunze.
Dude, I think Rome Odunze is going to have a 1,100 rookie season.
Yeah,
I think bro's going to
shock
ball
me.
out this year. So I'm going to go Rome Odunze.
I'm going to be honest. It's going to be Marvin Jones Jr. Just wanted to quickly
Harrison
look.
Jr.?
I wanted to, Marvin Harrison, for sure. Marvin Harrison Jr. He was the best receiver in college football for the last 2 years. So,
Defensive Player of the Year. I know you're a Jags fan, but I'm tossed between this. I'm tossed between two people. Because part of me really wants to say it's going to be Micah's year. But, dude, I think I'm going to Will Anderson.
that's crazy. I mean, it's not a bad pick, but I don't know. I would just like to say, let this please be the year where Josh Hines Allen at least gets some sort of credibility. I don't think he's going to win it. I think it's going to be Max Crosby, but Will Anderson's a good one.
So I'm going to go my dark horse pick. I'm going to say is Will Anderson. My main pick is Micah. Main pick is Micah.
Fair. My main pick is Max Crosby, and my dark horse, a little bit of bias, but I mean, come on. Josh Hines Allen just had 17 sacks last year, so.
Offensive Player of the Year. I'm going to go. You know what? Offensive Player of the Year this year, I'm going to go Garrett Wilson.
Ooh, that's a good one. You're making me buy into the Jets hype. How dare you, Breece Hall? How dare you make me buy into the Jets
MVP,
hype? I'll go Breece Hall. MVP, you're going to call me nuts, Brock Purdy.
MVP, you might call me nuts. I have a dark horse pick and I have a regular pick. Dark horse is Dak.
He has the passing yards. That makes sense.
My actual pick, CJ Stroud.
That's a good one. That's a popular pick. I wonder how many people actually think Purdy might win it, though. I might be completely out in left field on that one. I don't know.
And let's get into our last part. Super Bowl predictions. Grant, who do you have representing the NFC?
Who do I have representing the NFC? That would be none other than the Detroit Lions.
I agree with you there. I have the Lions as well. AFC, though.
Chiefs.
Texans.
Ooh, interesting.
I think Texans win it all this year, man.
You think Houston beats Detroit?
I think Houston wins it all this year, and I'm going to tell you why. CJ Stroud got what he needed. They have arguably the best receiving core in the league. Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins.
They do.
You know, they have a great coach. They have a great defense. Will Anderson can hit you from any direction, kind of like Randy Orton with an RKO out of nowhere. Dude, and their running back, too. They got Joe Mixon.
He'll make some difference, but he's not.
And I said this to you during the season last year. I said, if Houston has a strong offseason, they're going to make a run next year.
Nope. Now you can confidently say the Texans Super Bowl window has officially opened. And it will be open for at least 3 or 4 years. So if Houston doesn't get it done this year, don't be discouraged. They probably had another 2 or 3 shots. But just reminder, we were saying this exact same thing about the Buffalo Bills a few years ago. Their window is pretty much past at this point. So all I'm going to say to the Texans is you're in about a 3-year championship window right now. But if you don't make it there, or if you continue to lose to the powerhouses in the AFC like the Chiefs or the Ravens, I'm sorry. But that's all I'm going to say about Houston.
And I'm going to do one more thing. Biggest disappointing team of this year.
You didn't even say who I think's going to win between the Lions.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, my goodness. By the way, Detroit's winning. I just got to say this right now, and with all due respect to your pick as well, if Detroit makes the Super Bowl, no way are they losing. That is destiny written in the stars. Detroit, if they participate in a Super Bowl, they are winning it. And Jared Goff can finally celebrate.
Biggest disappointment for a team that should be in the playoffs this year.
Biggest disappointment that should be in the playoffs for me, Miami.
Dallas.
Ooh.
Yep. Plain and simple. I'm going Dallas as the biggest disappointment in the league this year. I think their ceiling is 11-6. I think the floor is 6-10.
You won't go 6-11. Don't worry about that.
6-11, I mean. Dude, I don't know. One, I don't know how much I can trust Zeke anymore.
Like I said, I think Rico Dowell's going to be the main guy anyway.
I don't know, dude. I have my doubts. It's scaring. Dallas is scaring me right now because we're only a week away from the season, and we haven't even attempted an offer to CeeDee Lamb yet.
He's gonna play. He's gonna play through this season. It's next off season's when you got to worry about CeeDee Lamb. I mean, he's gonna play this year. Don't panic about that.
I don't know, man.
Receivers do this all the time. Same thing with
I do know that, but I'm
year.
just saying I don't know how much I'm confident in Dallas now. After what I saw from last playoffs, I don't know how much I'm confident in this team. Because last year was the year to do it. Like you had your best team that you've had in years. In my opinion, since the 2014 team.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know though. That 2016 team was solid.
Yeah, but
yeah,
I'm
probably
gonna say,
their best run for a championship since 2014. Yeah,
that's all I got for Dallas right now. I don't know how to feel.
I go Miami because I just think Mike McDaniel is not a great head coach. And I think realistically, Miami should be a shoo-in for the playoffs, but I just don't trust their coaching staff at all. And I don't trust Tua in clutch situations. And Tua has shown me for the last 2.5 years now, you shouldn't trust him in clutch situations. So I think division or a wild card spot of the division, it's on the line against the Jets in week 18, and I expect them to lose that game. So
folks, this will be the last episode of the Swizz Sports Show virtually because starting in a couple weeks, starting next week, we are back in person, and we will be doing a lot of things coming on this channel. We're going to be doing college football reviews. I'm going to be getting Grant on for that one. I'm also going to be getting a couple other people I know on that one. Good friend Kyle McShane, who Grant will get to finally talk to about college football, who is a huge Alabama fan. And I'm going to look to move forward with a new show on the Swizz Sports Show called the College Football. I'm trying to think of a good name for it because I'm trying to come up with a name on the spot.
My college podcast name is called Campus Gridiron. That's on my YouTube channel, Floodster Sports Zone, if you want to check that out. New episode coming out tomorrow. We will be making fun of Florida State. We will be making fun of Florida State the whole episode. So if you are a Seminoles fan, I apologize in advance.
We're going to do me, Kyle, and Grant will have the show. I know Grant will definitely be interested because he loves talking football.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be calling it the college conversation.
Oh, there you go. That's not a bad one.
Actually, we're going to call it the college football conversation.
There you go.
We're gonna do it. I'll play around with it more.
That's a good one.
I was thinking campus tours. But I don't either that or campus cavalry. But I think we're going to end up going with the college football conversation. I like that name a lot. Also coming up on the show, we're going to be doing a lot of in-person stuff related to WWE content because we have a lot of big stuff coming up for WWE. We have Bash in Berlin coming up. We have Bad Blood coming up. We have Survivor Series War Games, where I think it's going to be Bloodline Rules.
Okay, Santi.
But we have a lot
funny.
coming up for WWE as well.
No, so like I said, when we're back
Um,
on campus, I'll be back. I'm sure I'll be back on Tyler's show talking
Yeah,
about football.
when I'm back on
wrestling.
campus, guys,
Wow.
especially because I'm going into my senior year, so I got to have a capstone project, and it's an audio one. I'm going to see if I can still use this to be my project, even though it technically has to be audio related. I mean, I can find a way to extract audio for this and put it on Spotify and stuff like that. I got to just figure out. I got to talk to our good buddy Vic Michaels over at Dean College. But yeah, guys, content is going to be pumping out for you. We were going to do Bad Blood, a Bad Blood review, and possibly a live stream reaction altogether. But I will actually be on vacation for the weekend of Bad Blood up in New Hampshire. I'm going to go away for that weekend up to North Conway. But I will say this. I will have a car now, and it is my last senior year. I think it's time we all watch a Mania or a Rumble together. It's my last year, man. I think we got to do it. I mean, I have a projector in my house where I could put it on my wall. But we all know
our dorm room. You know, we gotta.
You got a quarter. Yeah, we could definitely do. Year. Well, I know you guys usually do a Mania party off campus.
Oh yeah. Wow.
But I feel like if we did one on campus, it'd be pretty cool too. I definitely think. Well, Rumble's February 1st now.
Oh,
so we don't have that long weekend anymore. So I think we're gonna end up doing. I got to talk to Sam, play it out. But I think we should do the Rumble watch party. And yeah, the next episode you guys will see of the Swizz Sports Show will be a Bash in Berlin review. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that anyway because I will be at the PGA Championship, LGPA Championship. As a T announcer, as I mentioned. Thanks again to John Rook on that. If it's not a Bash in Berlin review, definitely Bad Blood predictions because I think we're going to have a great card with Bad Blood. Definitely. Also, going to try to get Nico Sharp on the podcast as well to talk some baseball because I know baseball playoffs are coming up. Nico is a good friend of the podcast. Hasn't made his appearance yet because he's been busy with his thing down in Hyannis with the Harbor Hawks in the Cape Cod League. And with that being said, everybody, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to the Swizz Sports Show. Make sure you subscribe to the Floodster Sports Zone over on YouTube as well. I will leave a link in the description. And 2024, the back half of 2024 is going to be great. And 2025 is going to be even better for the channel, guys. Can't wait for you guys to see what we have in store. Me and Sam have been talking behind the scenes how we can make this better because Sam has helped out with a lot of the wrestling stuff. Grant has as well. And we're definitely going to play around with a lot of things. I also am planning on upgrading to StreamYard Plus. That way we can get
that is super
things.
Helpful, by the way. You don't have to worry about hours streamed per month. I had it for 2 years. I strongly recommend it.
I'm also going to reach out to a couple of independent wrestlers who we will be able to interview on here. Craig Costa, who is a great family friend with the promotion Top Rope Promotions he's been with, and he's also with another promotion I forgot the name of, and Phil Roderick, who is also with Top Rope Promotions as well. Can't wait for you guys to see what they got to say. We will do that. I will have to set up that interview with Phil first, so Grant and Sam can also talk to them. I know they're not as familiar with the independent scene, but just to hear the experience from him.
Just give me a little background on the guy, and I can do some.
Yeah, Ted Goods is another one I'm trying to get on. He's actually been on WWE a couple times as, if you remember correctly, when AJ Styles was in his WrestleMania feud, and he did not want LNA to attack him. The LNA disguise, the first dude that came over and was in the hoodie, that was Ted Goods. He's a good friend.
Crazy.
He's also been eviscerated multiple times by Gunther. So we're gonna try to do a lot of content and move into that because I definitely want to try to get some guys on the channel. Also, guys, it looks like the collab with Santi and Conman 167 will not be happening for the foreseeable future until their schedules clear up. I mean, those two guys are at the top of their game. props to them. They're doing great things as well. I've reached out numerous times, just no response back yet. But with that being said, guys, as we said, subscribe to the channel. Leave a like on this podcast. If you like what you're hearing, make sure you subscribe to the Floodster Sports Zone and the Swizz Sports Show as well. And with that being said, Grant, anything you want to add?
No, Tyler, just thanks for having me on. And, can't wait to see you next week when we move back on campus, and look forward to talking more football and wrestling in the future.
Absolutely, guys. And like I said, thanks for joining us on this podcast. It's a bit of a long one, hour and 10 minutes. Thanks for bearing with us, but we know we love your football talk, and we're going to switch it up from wrestling now as well. So make sure you stay tuned for the new college football show coming on. Make sure you stay tuned for all the WWE stuff coming to the channel, and make sure you stay tuned for all NFL and other sports stuff coming through. With that being said, from Tyler Sumner and Grant Flood, this has been the Swizz Sports Show NFL season predictions with the Floodster Sports Zone.